Well, one of another era where there was a big backlash toward a community was the aftermath of 9/11 and the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and there was a lot of hate and a lot of anger toward Arabs, toward Muslims in this country. But there was a lot of pushback against that, a lot of concerted, organized pushback against that, not just from individuals, but from civic leaders, also from politicians high up. I mean, there was that famous moment with John McCain pushing back on that woman at the town hall, calling Barack Obama a Muslim, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I mean, there was an effort to say that is not okay.
Right.
Do you think that there is that same communal effort to say this sort of stuff? This anti-Semitic anger, these sorts of attacks? Is the pushback the same?
No, and especially not from the White House, which has to set the overall national tone on what is tolerated. And what we've got here is domestic violent extremism is the #1 national security threat in America. The Pentagon has been warning that for years. Now, Jews are uniquely vulnerable. They have been increasingly attacked, and there's a long history there, and the attacks are increasing. But it's not just them. There are other communities that are at risk now, including the Muslim community, including the trans community. And the president has a responsibility to set a responsible tone.
For all of them.
For all of them.
But they've been pretty forceful about
but also to
anti-Semitism.
also have a national security strategy to battle it.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't have right now. We continue to divide. We continue to ratchet up. We continue to marginalize people from the White House because that is what Trump does. And he doesn't offer a national security plan to lower the volume, to make people safer, and to protect them when they don't feel safe, whether they're Jews, Muslims, or trans people. And that's the larger issue. Every week we talk about a new threat. Last week we were talking about threats to politicians. Everyone feels less safe in this country right now because we are less safe and we are less vulnerable. And ultimately it's the commander-in-chief's job. Sorry, more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because it's the commander-in-chief's job to address it.
Go read the tax plan, go read the proposal. That is what the proposal is telling us. This is basically a handout for rich people.
It's plain language that I'm not hearing from many Democrats.
That's what the Democrats need, is Ed to talk to them, talk to the American people on their behalf, because they have a leader problem. They have a narrative problem.
They also have a communication problem.
It's all. I mean, they have no plan. They have no leader. They're still shattered. And
They're still talking about democracy.
And they can't control the narrative on anything. Nobody's taking the Hill because Hakeem Jeffries gives a speech. Nobody's counting on Bernie Sanders to reach the masses.
He's got to give those speeches.
But it's not cracking
But he has to give them on Capitol Hill. That's part of the job that he has.
But there has to be an effective machine for moving that to the American people. And he's right. They're not reaching people. And that's the problem. Whether it's TikTok, they talk a lot about tactics, but they are leaderless. AOC has been uniquely effective because she can actually reach people. Then you can talk about how she could weave in Bernie's message. But most Americans have tuned out the Democrats, including many Democrats.
Is it the age thing?
I think it's a leader thing. I don't think they have stars that are breaking through consistently. I don't think they've been able to coordinate one message. I don't think they can all get on the same page. Even when they talk about Van Hollen going down, to deal with an issue, they're not all backing him up. There is no unification in the Democratic Party on strategy, on messaging, on execution, and they are leaderless. And in the absence of that, the Republicans continue to roll and beat them on everything.
Capitalist doesn't feel like the system's working for them. So you have Bernie Sanders and you have AOC, who maybe are the best at trying to capture attention and spread this message, hammer this home. But they're also, I mean, there are a lot of Democrats, moderates, independents who really don't like them and don't like their policies and think they are too far left. How do you marry that anti-rich or tax the rich, anti-oligarchy messaging with something that can also reach the middle of the country and folks who are not, who see AOC and might liken her or think about pronouns or think about progressive vocabulary that they're uncomfortable with?
I mean, like it or not, the Democratic brand is in the toilet, and many of these folks that you're mentioning, AOC, Bernie Sanders, are immediately identified as Democrats, and that's baked in, especially for independents and moderate Republicans, and now more and more moderate Democrats. There has to be a recasting of the Democratic Party. They've tried this, and there are some that are starting to rise up. You look at Mark Kelly, for example, out of Arizona. Wes Moore is rising in this moment. You've got people like Pat Ryan, who's talking about patriotic populism. They're trying to figure out how to package it, how to message it, but they're still lacking a messenger who can crack through without all of that baggage. Yeah. And that's why you see governors trying to step into that gap, and none of them have filled it so far.
Who's going to bridge the two sides of the party?
Yeah.